Hello and welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, DS Nabi. We will be talking about something that just happened. Not like it's really happened. I think it's been reoccurring in Nigeria. Lots of people know about it. We all know about it. But I believe that the so-called international policing countries or international policy-giving countries or the countries that have the authority to tell other governments to stop doing certain things are just putting a blind eyes towards that. There have been a couple of times we've read in the news and we've seen genocidal acts happen in Nigeria, mostly against the Christian communities. And I wonder why we haven't really stopped and evolved above that concept of killing another human being just to justify something. I've met with a lot of Christians. They never believed in killing someone to make heaven. I've met with good lots of Muslim brothers, lovely people, and still, yes, they spoke about the infidel, but their dedication is just to worship, to pray to Allah. The amount of time that is stated in the Quran, that is their key focus. To do what Allah wants them to do personally, to keep their ways pure. But to me, I feel there's another agenda towards this killing. It could be political. It could be the idea to seize the seizure of lands, to drive certain people away from a community and take over the community. History has been repeating itself a couple of times, and we just keep the blind eyes there. Although, what can we do, right? When we keep this blind eyes, trust me, most people who have the voice, the power to speak to the government in Nigeria, where are the leaders, the voices of the Christian communities in Nigeria? We have top pastors and leaders that have mega churches, that have the voice to travel abroad and make petitions based on these things happening, show evidence, save lives. Although they are not your member, but you can still save lives. But most people would not want to do that. Where is CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria, I guess? Where are the leaders there? The bishops, the archbishops, the reverend fathers, the pastors, church leaders coming together to work together for once. You're preaching heaven, and you can still work together, talk about these things with not just talking about it in the pulpit, but talking about it with action, decisive action. We've had Christian head of states, Christian presidents. Where are they? Where? It is something they know that we don't, perhaps. We have so many Christian or Nigerian brothers who are in Rome, in the Vatican. What are they talking about? Like, have they issued any statement whatsoever concerning these lives? Now, we're watching a video. I can't play the video that these kids have been butchered, brains scattered, intestine removed, bullet wounds and bullet hands cut off, legs cut off. So many things happening in Nigeria, and most of us still just wake up in the morning and say, man, I gotta go hustle, make the money. You're hustling. If there's no peace, you can't hustle. If there's war in the country, you can't think of hustling. Yes, we gotta be grateful for the peace that we have in our region, but what if they come? What if it's war now? The army, the police are fighting and they're arming citizens to go fight. What if? Because it's happening over there, you're not talking anything. What if it happens to you? Who would speak for you? I believe more in humanology. Humans, we are the entity, the carriers of God's presence, the Allah's presence. You represent Allah. I represent God. Now, humanology teaches something that before this religion came, trust me, we've been human beings. We need to understand these, please, and evolve as Africans. Mostly, before they gave us Christians, Muslim, and all this stuff, we were human beings. Yes, we were forced to live together as Nigeria. We were forced. We all know the history is there. We were forced. After years of butchering and slaughtering and mass destruction, that we were forced to live together. Then all these precepts and all these dogmas and structures were given to us. We had no options, trust me. So would you use what was forced on you to now kill your fellow brothers that you've been brothers with? Look at your skin. You're a human being before religion. We all know when it started. Most religions started in what? BC, AD. We were here. We were human beings before the BC and AD. Why would we kill to justify a system? There's so many videos I have about how the Crusader went around doing Napoleon War, this whole war. There were millions of people that they massacred just to push, the Muslims, in Jerusalem, the Christians taking over that. Many killings before they have the stable understanding now. It's now in Africa. So many destabilized countries, terrorists, engineered by politics, by top governments around the world, engineered to put destructions. So what they are milking away from us, you won't see it. Now, how much do they pay you to kill a brother? Africans are easy to be sold. We've had slavery, slave trade, when a fellow brother will sell their fellow brothers. You see, sometimes some family are going through curse, eternal curse, because most of them back then sold their families, their brothers, to the white people, just to have the mirrors and the coins and the cowries and stuff. We're not talking about that. Same thing is happening. A young man is coming out to do good, to speak out, and all of a sudden everybody wants to put the man on the cross. How much are they paying you, sir? Look down to your feet. That's resources right there. Your resources. You're selling your birthright. Who sold this birthright in the Bible? It's all, oh my God. I think it's just Africans. Selling our birthright. We're willing to sell it. We're willing to sell a brother. We're willing to kill. For what? For a couple of dollars? For gold, diamond, that you have, yours? Now let's watch this video though.
Is a genocide against Christians happening right now in Nigeria? Well, Masara Kim, a reporter for Truth Nigeria, joins us now. Well, Masara, you recently wrote an article calling this an anti-Christian pogrom. What is actually happening in Nigeria?
The simplest way to describe what is going on in Nigeria is a genocide that, just as you say, it is entirely a religious cleansing targeted at Christian communities, and this has been ongoing for several decades now without the world paying attention, or at least turning a blind eye. In the last couple of days, precisely from the Sunday the 25th, we have had ongoing relentless attacks against Christian communities approximately 55 miles south of Jos, the capital of Plateau State. And these attacks are part of a pattern, they follow a pattern of violence that has killed more than 200 Christians in the central region of Nigeria since the holy month of April. On Palm Sunday, which was April the 13th, just as Christians in the western part of Jos were settling for the evening after celebrating Palm Sunday with shouts of hallelujah, there were thunderings, there were thunderous gunshots all over the community, and more than 55 people were massacred at an instant, and dozens of houses were burned down. And interestingly, or rather more heartbreaking, is the fact that children and women formed the vast majority of the victims of these massacres. In one particular room, I walked into a room where I saw the bodies of 8 children from ages between 3 and 8 that were literally slaughtered. Right, they were literally slaughtered, and you could see their brains plastered on walls, and you could see the room was entirely flooded with their blood. And I just could not imagine what manner of human being would do that. And yet, they were offensive.
Well, Masara, you sent me a video before we got started and again, if you're watching this and you're a little queasy, I think it's important for the world to see this. You sent us a video.
What are you expecting? Obviously, when we keep listening to videos like this, we just say, oh man, what's going on in Nigeria? And that's it, life goes on. We move on to another level, we move on to the next thing, we move on to be chasing money. We move on because we have the money to travel abroad, to do whatever we want to do. So we feel like others who are going through stuff are sacrificing their life for Christ. Never. Let's not be deceived. This can happen anywhere. People can come into your church and just pull everybody out and just take you out. Everything, it can happen. If there's no addressing to the situation, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. We all know what's going on. We all know what's going on. Nigeria is for grabs. Nigeria is for grabs. You get that? So however you can grab your own piece of pie, just grab your own piece of pie. Nigeria is for grabs. And those that have tried to grab some little thing to themselves, personally, for personal gain, they are successful because they know that there are certain people or structure that is there looking, that the whole constitution or the whole Nigeria thing favors them. So you got to go pledge your allegiance. Once you do that, you can now do whatever you want as long as you keep their interest intact. Now that's what's going on in Nigeria. But how long can this go? Okay, y'all feel like resources cannot be milked to a bare minimum, right? You feel like this oil will be there forever. Oil is moving though. It's a liquid, it moves. It moves. And the last video I did that yesterday, I was speaking about the firmament of heaven and the authorities that governs every affairs of humankind. You think if they weigh the scale of balance between Nigerians' resources and how it's affecting negatively to his people, you think they won't push it away so the people can have peace? You think they can't come to a structure or to a decisive agreement where they'll say this oil, these resources were given to this country. It has only brought about negative realities. If we push it out, those power that be in the world, I just go to the next level and leave them be and leave the country. Now we're saving the country, we're saving the citizens. They can think for themselves. They can start doing some technological inventions. They can start thinking about how to invent through nature. You all think it's not possible. It's possible. So this, the reporter said, this is a religious cleansing. If Nigeria becomes a Muslim country, everybody's not a Muslim. I think that's that's why all these things can stop. Everybody's now a Muslim. Genocide in Nigeria. Why? Brothers killing brothers. Human beings killing human beings. For what? For artificial agenda. When we need to be wise, we need to be wise. We need to be wise. I think when I leave my case here, this is not just a new stuff. We know it, but what can we do about it? We need to start tweeting about it, talking about it, posting about it, hashtag it. Let it stop. Tag some governmental officials home and abroad. They can do something. Let this stop. Let human beings leave. Let us leave. Those people that they killed on Palm Sunday, they have no interest in politics. They had nothing to do with anything. Just to make a statement. Please, let's try to be more humans in Nigeria. God bless.